welcome back to the channel. We've got two new exciting tools from Flex today, and I've got a lot of work to do. Check this out. Look at all of those studs that I've got to rip down to 2x2s. Those are 2x4s, and they need to be 2x2s. What are we going to do? We're going to use the new Flex table saw to do it. Actually, we're going to use both of them. This is the 8 1/4. That is the big 10-inch. We'll get to that here in a little bit. But let's go over some of the features of the new 8 1/4 Flex table saw. Now, they did not send me any instructions with this table saw at all. So a lot of the features I'm just going to try to scan over because I'm still figuring this thing out myself. Now, I will say right off the bat, the anti-kickback, the riving knife, the guard, all of that stuff pretty much collects dust for us. I know that might not be the safest thing, but we do too many plunge cuts too often. So we would spend a lot of time taking these off, if that makes sense. So we just run it bare. That's the way we're gonna run this saw. That's the way we've ran all of our table saws, and we've never had an issue. We just go real slow, take our time, be careful. It does come with this handy guide. And I like that. Apparently it stores underneath there. That's what my guess is. Rack and pinion system, nice and smooth. You can see how smooth it is, nice and accurate. Couple upgrades that I like over the DeWalt. The lock, it's right in front. On the DeWalt, it's over here, it's kind of hidden. Same for the push guard, or the push stick, excuse me. It's right in front. On the DeWalt, it's up top, which is a pretty good location, but I think down here is gonna be a little bit handier because I'm not gonna have to put my hand up here closer to the blade. I'm gonna be able to just reach under here real quick and push through with my push stick. So I like that location better, I think. We'll see. I definitely like the location of the lock better. Right in front, super nice. Bevels to 45 degrees. Also, I don't know when these are coming out. I'll just say that right off the bat. I have no idea on the launch date of these. They didn't tell me. So your guess is as good as mine. I'm gonna guess early 2024. I'll look up the prices. I'll put all of those details at the end of the video, so stick around for that. But let's get a little bit closer in depth on this saw, show you a couple more features real quick, and then we're gonna start ripping some lumber. Okay, here's something that I wanted to show you guys real quick that I thought was really cool. To my knowledge, the DeWalt does not do this. I've never done this with my DeWalt, so, and I don't know that the Milwaukee does either, but you can take that's how the fence comes off if you're not familiar with rack and pinion fence systems. You can expand it, come over here a little bit. That gets you a little bit more cut capacity. But this is kind of cool. So I'm flipping it around backwards and I go underneath, clip it on, boom, we're locked down, and this is nice and flush right here. How cool is that? I just love it that now we've got a nice slick top for storage to put this thing away. I really like that. Let me go ahead and clip this down real quick. I like to get up close and personal for you guys. I like to get in depth with this stuff, right? So we've got onboard storage right here for our blade change wrench. Got an Allen wrench here for some adjustments, obviously. Nice handle right here that you can carry it by. Weight of this saw, I have no idea. I guess I need to look that up. It's pretty good weight. Let's twist it around here, and I will show you guys how this works. So obviously, this to me is just awesome. I love this. Instantly, you have more table space, and it's super easy to click back down to. Actually, it uses what looks like it's the same brackets under here as the Stack Pack wall mount brackets to mount it on the wall, which is really nice. We'll get you up close and personal on this motor. Let's just go ahead and do that right now. How about that? So here it is. Here's the motor. Pretty decent size. You can still see that I've got some styrofoam on it. Dust port looks really good. Looks like, yes, I'm sure you can take that screw out. Occasionally, I'm sure this will get plugged up. I know the DeWalt and the Milwaukee always does. So you could probably take this off. I'm assuming there's a screw up here and a screw down here. Take this whole side off, unplug it if you're, cutting wet lumber or something like that, it gets clogged up. So that's nice. A little up close on that rack and pinion, how that works. Let me go to the other side and I'll work that rack and pinion for you real quick. So here's our lock. See, lock down, push up. You see how that works? Let me go to the other side. You can kind of see it. See that? Nice and accurate. I like that. Obviously, we've got a pinion gear, whatever you want to call it down here, to raise the blade and tilt the motor. Let's talk about cut capacities. Let me get this thing set up with the fence back on it. We'll talk a little bit about the fence more too. Let me set this thing up again. Take that off, spin it around. Most of the time we'll use it on these first notches. Typically we don't need the extra 4 inches or whatever it's going to be. But yeah, blade depth. Also, I do not have a battery in this right now, so don't worry about that. That's maximum height right there, and I'm reading that at about, man, 2 3/4 maybe. Yeah, right at barely shy of 2 3/4. I'd play it safe and say 2 11/16 is going to get you on your cut depth. So that's pretty awesome. Fence. See how far on the first notch. That should be about 20.5 inches according to my fence. Yeah, 20 11/16. And then let's go to the next notch. Let's just move this over. Let's see what max capacity is here. We're looking at 25 1/4. A perfect 25 1/4. That's your max cut from the right side. I'm sure it's different from the left side, but we're not too worried about that. Let me take you around here. Check out this. Actually, you know what? Let me just pull this back in. Let's just lock it right there. How about that? Now, I've got this awesome little switch and a USB port right here. I've never seen this before on a miter saw or a table saw. Flip it on. Check it out. Got LED lighting. How cool is that? Get you in there real close where you can see that LED lighting. You can see the switch and charge port right here, which is cool. So off, on, rechargeable, built right in. You might think that's a little bit weird or I'll never use that. Let me tell you, as a remodeler, I know for a fact I'll use that because so many times it seems like flooring jobs in particular, we're working inside dark places. A little bit up close here. We've got battery indicator level right here. Nice and easy bevel all the way to 45. Smooth, real smooth, fast too. Let's give it a little test run real quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop a 5.0 in this thing. Just real quick, just so we can turn it on, see what it sounds like up close, see what the switch looks like. Pretty fast blade break. I like it. I really like it. Here's that battery power level indicator. Very nice. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and rip some 2x with this thing. Then we'll get into the big 10-inch. How about that? Let's see how many 2x we can rip with a fully charged 12.0 battery. How about that? Okay, I've got the height of my blade set. I've got a fresh 12.0 flex battery. Just came off the charger, but it's nice and cool. It's not hot. I have not used this battery today for anything, but it is in a nice controlled environment. It's about 55 degrees in here right now. So this should be the ideal test, and it is fully charged just off the charger. So let's go ahead and get this thing rocking. Let's see how many 2x4s I can turn into 2x2s. Okay, that's it. Just thermaled on me. All right, good stopping point. Show you what it's doing here. There we go. That battery is done. Time to tally it up. There's what's left. And there's what I just ripped. 24 2x4/8. So about 192 linear feet of ripping on a single 12-0 charge. To me, that's pretty impressive to rip all of that. And you know, I was trying to be as realistic as I can with it. You might say, well, you didn't use the riving knife. And I did pinch, if you'll notice, I did pinch at one point in time and I had to turn the saw off and turn it back on. That's where the riving knife would have been nice, but I'm just trying to be as realistic as I can with this video. We don't use the riving knife. We plunge cut too many times, and I don't want to have to take the riving knife off and on, off and on. I just trying to be realistic with the cutting. So 192 linear feet is what I got on that 12-0 battery in these conditions. I'm in a controlled environment here. Like I said, the temperature is, here's the temperature right here, 60.8 degrees. So it's pretty nice in here, good working temperature. I'm impressed with the saw. I can tell you that right now. It's very comfortable. The blade has performed very well. I have no issues with this saw. I think it's great. I don't expect the 10-inch to cut as many, obviously, because you're spinning a larger blade, but who knows? Maybe it will. Maybe it'll cut that many. One more thing on this table saw before we go to the 10-inch. This extension wing for the table. My buddy on Instagram, Rich, had a really good question. He wanted to know if this was perfectly in plane with the rest of the table. Apparently on some of the old Hitachis or some of the new Hitachis, I'm not sure which one he's referring to, but apparently on some of those other table saws that have this feature, they're either bowed or sagged or not perfectly flush or in plane with the rest of the table. So I thought that was a great question, and we're just going to check it right now for full disclosure purposes. And you can see that it is not perfectly flush. It's probably about an 1/8 inch subflush from the rest of the table. Is that really going to affect anything? Not for me personally, remodeling, rough carpentry, framing, things of that nature. I don't think that's going to really affect me truly. But if you're into fine finishing and fine woodworking, it could, I guess. It's not just at the front either, it's at the back. There's still a little bit. Now, it is adjustable, so maybe I just need to make a few adjustments. And sure enough, a couple of slight adjustments, and we're right back on track. So it just didn't come out of the box adjusted quite properly. There's 2 small screws underneath here that support this bracket, that hold it to the actual saw, the frame of the saw. All I had to do was loosen those, move this up just a hair, tighten it back down. We're good to go. All right, let's check out the 10-inch flex cordless table saw. A lot of the same features as the 8 1/4, but the biggest 2 features, let's go over the biggest 2 features that really stand out. This one has this cut sense technology. Now this is new, and I believe it's patented by Flex. This is not a safety feature, okay? Right off the bat, I'll tell you that. This is not a safety feature. Basically, you push this button and the saw is going to turn off after you're done ripping your material. So it's a battery saving feature. It's a tool saving feature. If I get done ripping a 2x and pass it all the way through, the saw should shut off, saving battery power. Then I have to kick it back on each time. But that's not that big a deal if I can save some battery power. What's nice is it's optional. You do not have to use it. Once again, battery indicator here, right out in front. We've got our push stick. I love that. That's the place it should belong. This is more like the DeWalt in the fact that the lock is over to the side, but once again, the lock is still in a better position. It's very easily accessible. It's out front. The DeWalt, that was one of my gripes. It's kind of around the side. out of sight, out of mind. And I can't tell you how many times I've been going fast, and I push something through and my fence starts moving because I forgot to lock it down on the DeWalt. This one, it's right out in the open and a little more accessible. Not as accessible as this one. I like the accessibility on this one better. It's right in front, but this is still, I mean, this is where you're going to be standing. It's still pretty close, so I like that. The other big thing on this saw, the difference in this saw and this saw, is the cut depth. Check this out. Yes, it will cut a 4x4 completely in half with a little bit of room to spare. Now, how cool is that? Also, it comes with a 40-tooth general purpose wood cutting blade, and I've had good success with flex blades, so I expect this one to be pretty nice as well. Same accessories, although they did not send me the guide. So the guide wasn't in the box. Maybe it got forgotten about. Maybe it doesn't come with the guide, but at least there's a place for a guide, and I'm sure you can buy it separately sometime. Did come with this, though. This is pretty cool. So this is just a diverter for your dust collection, which is nice in windy conditions. Sometimes I'll probably use this a lot because I like to downturn it. I know on my DeWalt I had a 90 that I would put on there. So that's going to be really nice. Once again, comes with the riving knife and the guard, which I once again won't put on, although it is pretty simple to put on. It's a little bit unique. Crank this down, pull the plate out, crank it back up. You've got this little mechanism here, and you can insert your riving knife or your guard. Well, with it like this is loose. See how loose this is? Insert your riving knife, insert your guard, and clamp it down, and it holds it in place. So kind of unique there. Tilts to 45, and yes, it does have the built-in light on the fence again, which I just think that's really cool. That's super, super nice. I'm not saying we're going to use it a ton, but anytime we have a flooring job, it just seems like we're in dark places. So if I'm in a dark place, I'm not going to hesitate to use it. The motor, the size of the motor, it looks pretty close to the same to me, which is surprising. I assumed the motor would be larger on the 10-inch, but it looks to be close to the same. We'll take a look at this one. Yeah, it looks to me like it's the same motor. This one might be a tad smaller. It looks the same. Looks the same to me, so it probably is. Probably the same size motor. I'm just not sure. But anyways, we're gonna test this one out too. See what we can do with the big 10-inch. This is the one that I'm more excited about. I mean, this one has some amazing features. I love the flip-out table. I love everything about both of them, really, but this is the one I think we're gonna keep in the trailer. We might keep that one in the shop or just for small jobs, I think, just portability. I think that's what that's really designed for. So, all right, let's get rocking on this 10-inch. Set up to rip 2x2s on the big 10-inch saw now, and this is the same battery, but it is 3 or 4 hours later. This is fully charged. It's very cool to the touch. It's cooled down. It's still like 60 degrees in here. So this battery has rested well enough. I think this will be a great test for it. So fully charged, just took it off the charger. Let's rock and roll. Oh, and by the way, I am going to use the Cut Sense technology. So I'm going to engage that button right now. I've got a green light. I'll show you that after we run these through. But after I pass this 2x through completely, it should kick the blade off automatically. So let's check it out. Let me get on the correct side of my saw too. Here we go. Okay, so you've seen right there, the cut sense turned off because I didn't have pressure on the blade, I'm guessing. I'm gonna leave it on and we'll see how many times it does that. But obviously we're seeing that you need constant pressure applied. It needs to sense that it's cutting something. So that's probably my bad. Here we go. All right, that's it. Just thermaled. Yeah, let's get you flipped around here. Okay, so it's went into thermal overload protection mode. Battery is fairly warm, but man, that's a lot of sawdust and a lot of 2x2s. So let me count these up real quick. 21 2x4/8 ripped to a 2x2. That's 168 linear feet of 2x material. Look how wonky that one was. Now, if you noticed in the video, I was struggling on this one, and you can see where it actually broke in half. This is one of those real wonky 2x's that you get into that no matter what you do, it's going to be really hard to cut it. So I'm sure if I wouldn't have hit this particular stud, I probably would have gotten 22 or maybe even 23 ripped, which is super impressive to me. And that is an awfully lot of sawdust in one day. So quite a bit ripped. I still have 4 2x's left here that I need to rip, but I just really wanted to show you guys the maximum amount of ripping power off of one battery that each saw would do. So I'm very impressed with it. Very impressed with the cut sense technology. If you noticed in the video, every time I ran that 2x through, the blade stopped automatically. I just love that feature. I wish they would have put it on the 8 1/4. Just really, really like it. It works very well. I could tell that when I eased off a little bit, you could tell the motor was starting to back down. It was starting to throttle down, potentially going to turn off. All I had to do was just barely make sure I kept a little bit of tension on it at all times, and it just powered right through it. So love the cut sense technology, and I think when I get used to it, especially, I think it's going to be second nature. I'm just going to leave it on all the time. So well done, Flex. Now, if you guys have any questions about these two saws, any questions at all, something that I didn't show in the video, please let me know. Comment down below. I am happy to answer any questions if I possibly can. Once again, release date. I'm not sure on these, but I will tell you some prices real quick. The 8 1/4, $449, and that is bare tool. The 10-inch, $549, bare tool. Now, if you want the 10-inch, they will sell it in a kit. They're not telling me what's in the kit yet. I'm sure it's some sort of large battery and a charger. 10-0, 12-0, I'm not sure yet, but it's $749 for the kit for the 10-inch. So keep those numbers in mind. Once again, if you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. Hit me up on Instagram. I'm on there quite a bit. Follow me on Instagram at Miller's Construction. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. See you guys on the next one. Look for more Flex Tool reviews.